saw that clip, my blood literally started boiling because I'm just like, why? Why, as a man, is your default humiliating your woman and using your supposed superior strength to harm her rather than help her? And I really don't care what people say about culturally this, culturally that. Disrespect is disrespect. That's not funny, no matter what you've been brainwashed to believe to be okay. This man was literally smashing cake all over this woman, pushing it all in her face and at the same time gripping her neck so that she couldn't get away. And she had to get the full brutality of his actions. And then smashing the cake on top of her head and into her clothing. It was just wild to me. And if you notice in the video, there's a little girl that jumps away when she sees his actions, because even in her child's mind, she knows that what he is doing is an act of violence. And I just can't fathom it. I just don't understand why men have to push down and show dominance over an already vulnerable demographic. And, a lot of times we can have this man versus woman thing, or we can have this black man versus black woman thing where we talk about what goes on in the black community. But, I really want women to understand something, is that a lot of these ideas of the treatment of women goes across all races of men. They may manifest it differently, but the mentality and the ideology is the same. A lot of us complain about red pill, but let's never forget that a white tea man started red pill. Or let's not forget that in Asia, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of other places that there is, or the Middle East, that there is extreme violence against women, and it's not black men. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to understand that all men, we have to be wary, or, on point about, making sure that they are not these type of men. And it's just, I don't know. I just don't understand, for men to say all the time that they're stronger than women and they've done all of this building the world and they've created the world and all of this other BS. Well, okay, sir. Well, if you're that strong and you've done all of that, then, and if you think that women are so weak and mediocre, and why do you have to flex on somebody that you're better than? Huh? Wouldn't it be more manly to have a tradition of smashing cake in another man's face? That way, when y'all square up, that y'all will be on equal footing. Like I said, it is just very upsetting. That video was very upsetting to me, to see this happen to her and just see that no one stood up for her. No one even told him to stop. Smashing cake all over her. And just like I said, when he just started rubbing it into her shirt, that is really what sent me to another place. And like I said, what's crazy is that there are women suffering everywhere in some shape, form, or fashion at the hands of a man. That's just what it is. And, I don't know what can be done about this. I don't, because I can't say too much on YouTube, but women, they just don't, they don't respond in kind. So how can you ever get anywhere if the people that are bullying you and harming you know that you're not going to return the favor? You're just going to accept it. You're going to accept it. You're going to tolerate it. And I understand why, because of fear, because the brutality of men knows no bounds. You know what I'm saying? And, in my opinion, the overwhelming majority of women just aren't wired for extreme violence. To be acting up, women just don't do that. So, and then my thing is, it's like men have this double standard of behavior for men versus women. And I think that's really why a lot of men see nothing wrong with abusing or harming women, but wouldn't want the same thing done to them. Anytime you see a woman do something to a man, it's like, oh my gosh, how come she didn't walk away? How come she did that to him? That's wrong. But those same men would be on hush mode if the same thing happened to a woman. You know what? But I'm going to give y'all an example. All right. I was on Facebook, right? And I saw this post from this stupid red pill guy's page. I'm sure that you guys have heard of him. This is black guy. His page is called The Desirable Truth. And, he was interviewing this young Asian girl about body count or X or something like that. And she was in her early 20s. Y'all can see from the picture. She's an attractive girl. And I look in the comments and I see this comment from a Robert Shapiro. And he says she did mention that she has slept with many men. That's the reason why she can't keep a man. Then he says that she's very physically attractive. Well, he says that she's a very physically attractive Asian woman, but men get really turned off by women who have X on the first date. At that very moment, she becomes a pump and dump and for the streets type of woman. Another woman without a father, raised by a single mother, and a future single mother guaranteed. Now, mind you, this man doesn't know anything about this girl, anything about her family situation. And then another thing is that how can you be turned off by a woman sleeping with you on the first date when you are participating and doing the same thing with her? Aren't you for the streets then too? Like what? But anyway, let me move forward. He says, I never had X with her or any other high body count woman. The reason is I always thought I was a special man. I wasn't comfortable with a woman who made me feel like a number in a delicatessen. Every pot has a lid. This woman will find the right man for her. As if he ever had the option. Like, as if he ever had the option to touch this woman. But anyway, I decided to go on this man's page and I see this. You see this? This is on this man's page. He's out here with his geriatric body thirst trapping. You out here this old trying to be for the streets. You see what I'm saying? And it's like you trying to be single and for the streets at your big old age and you're being a hypocrite. You're being a hypocrite. You literally can't make this stuff up. How in the world are you going to be mad at her for having a sexy outfit on? Because there was plenty of comments of him and others talking about how she was dressed sexy. But you over here without your shirt on. Like, sir, stop it. And don't nobody even want to see that. But let me just keep going. Like, I guess it's just going to be like a compilation of crazy things that I've seen because I run across so many things every day. And it's anyway, let me just keep moving forward. I saw this article, right? Where this woman, as you can see there, she waited 3 years for her man while he served time in a Cuban prison. And less than 2 weeks after reuniting with her in the U.S., he fatally stabbed her. They were in a long distance relationship for 6 years while he was in prison. Well, I don't know if it was 6 years, full 6 years, because he was supposed to serve 6 years, but he only ended up serving 3 years. And what's crazy is that she posted on social media, "You're the dream I always prayed for. Welcome home." And this man stabbed her 15 times. And, like I said, I just don't know. Like, because we could all do the thing about she shouldn't have been, waiting on a man that was in prison and all of these things. But at the end of the day, she's still an innocent victim, a woman that put her love and her trust in the wrong man, and she paid for it with her life. And honestly, all of these things that I see every day, with the work that I do, it's really, sometimes it weighs down on my soul. It really, really, really does. Because I just don't know why men behave this way. And women do not behave in this manner. And this isn't to say that there aren't women that do things like this or do heinous things, but we know that the majority of women don't. And that's just the truth. Let me show y'all another article here. Detroit man arrested after fatally shooting his ex-girlfriend and her mom and then attacking her 9-year-old niece. Reportedly left their bodies in a burned car parked in an alley. And my thing is, like, you think about that. No mercy. No mercy. Not even any mercy for the little girl. You know what I'm saying? And then it's none for pregnant women either, because if you see here, New York man sentenced to 40 years to life after fatally pew-pewing his pregnant ex-girlfriend in front of her kids. She had reportedly just left her baby shower. And it's just like, these things are very real fears for women. Things are really happening to Black women and women in general. But you have all of these men out here talking about submission, tradition, modern women or traditional women, modern women, passport bros, this and that, telling women how to dress and behave while they don't impose any of those standards onto themselves or other men. Talking about their leaders. Oh, they're leaders because they're men. If y'all are leaders because y'all are men, then how come y'all are not advising any of these other men to stop behaving like Animals.
Men who empower whores are bad for society. If we lived in a society that was working to be better, whores would not be empowered. A whore destroys a nation and its resources. That's what a whore does. A whore is not happy with herself or anybody else. That's why I said a woman with a BBL is autistic. That's why I said that. Whores are not happy with themselves or life. So they do things to destroy the production of life, starting with themselves and their children. They don't care about their children's growth. The man must be established as a villain over everything. Yo daddy ain't. That is the theme of a whore. Yo daddy ain't. Men who empower whores are bad for society.
Let me say this first. I find Corey Holcomb to be absolutely repulsive. Like literally smegma. Literally the lowest of the low, the lowest life form on the planet Earth. He is so absolutely dreadful and just, you know what? To describe him as a POS would actually be a compliment. That's how much I think that he is disgusting. And for him to sit there and do this whole dialogue about how men who empower whores are bad for society while being one himself is absolutely diabolical. Like, make that make sense. And you know what? He's also a hypocrite because he is the biggest empowerer of quote unquote whores, because the only women that will give him a piece of pussy are women that are being paid, because whore by definition is a prostitute. And let me show you a clip of what this man says that he does.
Women in poverty, I can control them better. A girl who can't afford to say, fuck you, Corey, I'm gone. She just can't afford to do it. So I take advantage of that. Now, that might be wrong, but her poverty and my needs, most of the time, it even out. I don't really need a lot of their time. And they don't tell me to fuck off because they know when I come over, their children can get some,
hold up, goddamn,
some outlet Jordans.
Outlet Gucci.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that these women that Corey Holcomb preys on are victims, because anyone that is forced to take peen from Corey Holcomb for any type of money is absolutely a victim, because I can't imagine the horrors when that man takes off his shirt and pulls down his pants. Disgusting. But I want to think about this logically here, right? The definition, once again, of whore is prostitute, which means to have intercourse, and these women to entertain you, you have to be giving them something, which is what he is doing. He is paying them and giving them resources in order to get them to engage with him sexually. So he is preying on these women. He's also paying these women, which means that by default, he is one of the men that he is upset with. He is empowering, quote unquote, you know what? And, you know, maybe if he had the brain cell of an amoeba, he would know that everything that he is saying is completely hypocritical. You know what I mean? But you know, just like I've showed you with other things in this video, the hypocrisy of men, it always astounds me. And it really shouldn't, but it does, because it just doesn't make any sense, because aren't these the ones that say that they're the most logical? I just don't understand. And you know, it's also just like the man, I don't know if I'm sure y'all know who this bug-eyed man is, but the man that has the No Fugazi podcast. He talks about single mothers being for recreational use, and that women that dress provocatively are not able to be wifed up. But then the man at the same time has wifed up a Caucasian woman who was a single mother with a fully whitey child that he is taking care of. And he's wifed her up. And she dresses sexy online. That is absolute insanity, because it goes against everything that he is preaching to everybody that's listening to him. But like I said, if you listen to this man, you're already a certifiable lunatic. And then it's my thing is that you have a man like that loves to live in this glass house And he's sitting there thinking that he's God's gift to women because his bed bug self is tall. It's crazy to me because he likes to degrade women from this glass house that he's living in. Because I don't know what that white tea woman done told you, but she done told you a lot because you ain't all that.
What you rate yourself from 1 to 10?
I'm a whole 11.
You above the scale.
Hell yeah.
What about in the real
I don't care about
world?
nobody else. In the real world, I'm a 10.
You know a 10 means perfect.
I'm perfect.
So there's nothing that you can change as far as your looks.
I got nice eyes. They real. This body is real. That's a problem. And
Okay.
I'm soft. I'm a 10. You look good. You look good. So I'm telling you, I'm a 10.
So people are telling you that you look good. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Those people, they was lying to you. They was lying to you. They was lying to you. So the thing is, when you get all of this free attention from males that say, oh, baby, yeah, you look good. You ain't got to change nothing. They're lying to you because they want to sleep with you. I don't have those intentions, so I'm being honest with you. So I can tell you that you are not a 10. You're not anything close to that. And you have many things that you need to work on and change from the outside. For sure, for sure, for sure.
Now, you can see that when he told her that she wasn't a 10 and he was saying that she was nothing near that, and those women were there and they were laughing, like he wouldn't say the same thing to them too. Like, I really felt like that was disgusting. Like, as a woman, why? But once again, as a woman, why would you ever go on this man's platform and give him the opportunity to tell you what he thinks of you as if he is any better than anyone? Like, I can't fathom it. A man that's sitting there looking like a string bean with braids in his head. Like, why would y'all? Anyway, but like I said, I can't understand why you would ever. But if you see when he was speaking to her, it's like when he said those things, there's a certain moment where she looked down and it looked like he broke her self-esteem and he smiled. And I really think that that's exactly what he was looking to do. I think that what makes him feel powerful is the degradation of the black woman, black women specifically. I think he'll take any woman if he can, but I think he specifically enjoys the degradation of black women. And I think that if he can make you feel low, if he can make you feel inadequate, if he thinks that he can make you feel ugly and like you will never be anything and you never could be anything, and no one will ever find you to be the most beautiful in their eyes, then I feel like he feels like he's done his job. And, why is that? Is that a man? Is that a real man? Is that a high tier man like he always says that he is? No. Because is that even a so-called alpha, high value man, and all that other BS? Because if you were a good man, if you were a top tier man, why would you want to prey on someone that you deem to be weaker than you? He says that all the time too. He says that women are more emotional, they're weaker, they're all of this and that and the third. And if so, then why would you feel like it's your duty to try to break women's spirits? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, like looking at him like such a slithering snake, dirtbag, hypocrite, liar, somebody that doesn't preach what they say. You're over here talking about you don't like single mothers, but you got one. So I guess it's okay to be a single mother as long as you don't have any melanin. I guess it's okay to be a simp and take care of somebody's baby as long as it's a white tea baby. You know what I'm saying? It's okay for you to have a woman that you're with all this time and not marry her because he hasn't married this lady. I guess it's all good to do all of that stuff and you're still this great high value man that makes baby mamas because she has babies by him too. Like all of this, that, and the third, as long as, like I said, it's very upsetting to me because in all of this work that I have dedicated my life to do, which is uplifting black women, these are the type of things that I am bombarded with every day. These are the type of scumbags that I run across every day. Because honestly, I am a person that, like, if I didn't have this part of my life where I'm trying to uplift black women and also push back on false narratives against black women or women in general, I would be somewhere like watching some horror movies or looking at some anime. You know what I'm saying? But I like to watch scary things, happy things, uplifting things. Definitely not no stuff from no knuckleheads like this. But I feel like it's necessary work to do because a lot of women will do just what the young lady did in the video, which is accept the disrespect, feel bad about it, and not say anything and not have a voice. And that's exactly what they bank on. They bank on your submissiveness or your docile nature or your willingness to just let the man get away with it because you may be scared or whatever. Not saying that there's anything inherently wrong with that, but some of us have got to stand up and just be willing to do whatever to stand up so these men don't feel all powerful. These type of men so that they don't feel all powerful. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's like I feel all of these things deeply in my soul, these things that I see of women being harmed and hurt. And it makes me feel so sad for women. But it's like, I am a woman. I have to live in this world too. So I feel empathy for the women that are not me that I see experiencing it. And then I feel because I'm like, hey, this could easily be me or my daughters in the future, And really, that's the reason why I have a problem with men because I feel like we as women, we try so hard to be heard and to have a voice and for people to see us and for people to recognize what we are saying and how we feel, but right now, so people understand me. I also have a problem with men who put their pandering hats on, their grifting hats on, and they sit there and they just simply regurgitate stolen information. Stolen, yes, stolen takes, stolen thoughts, stolen feelings from Black women and repackage them with mansplaining and then go on to be more successful than the women's whose experiences that they are stealing. That to me is ridiculous. And I have no idea why more women are not outraged. If you don't know, every Black female content creator out there is not super successful and enjoying the fruits of her labor or whatever, but you see men that haven't even put a drippity drop as much as blood, sweat, and tears into it that these women have, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's ridiculous. And I don't care if I get called a hater or anything of that nature. Say what you want to say about me. But my thing is, ladies, is that there are... Let me not even say what I was about to say. I'm just going to say, Black women, y'all can say what y'all want to say about me in the comments. Some of you. You can say that I am, jealous of certain men or hating on certain men. But I just feel like only a Black woman knows what a Black woman is going through. I don't think that anyone other than a Black woman should make any type of gains or profits off of the experiences of Black women. I don't. And I just want to say that me personally, I'm always going to go to war for y'all. I'm always going to put y'all first. I'm always going to expose to y'all what's going on out here in these streets. Even if, some Black women don't want to hear my message or they don't like me or, they'd rather hear it from a man. I'll acknowledge that you have internalized misogyny and I will keep pushing and, I pray for you at the end of the day. But I don't know, man. I guess I'm just going to keep pushing. A lot of this stuff that I just see going on is just wild to me. Like, I have so much that I want to say, but I'm going to bite my tongue for now. Maybe in the future, I'll say more. I don't know. But I'll say that I also think, the reason why I put in, some other different people in here is because I think it is important. And I'm going to start doing this more often, I think, to showcase I think it's more important, not more important, excuse me, that's the wrong word. But I think that it is also important sometimes to show other races of women's their misfortune and their experiences so that Black women don't ever become delusional and believe that the issues that we face as Black women are only going to come from Black men when it is all men. Because I see that all the time. There are so many women that comment underneath my comments, or excuse me, they will comment underneath my videos and say, oh, ladies, this will be fixed if we date out. This will be fixed if we get an Arab man. This will be fixed if we get an Asian man. This will be fixed if we get a white T man. And I'm thinking to myself, like, are y'all only keeping up with Black men or no? Because if you look outside the community, you will know that it's all of them. You know what I'm saying? And there's an opportunity or a possibility of you getting a good man or a bad man in literally every race or community or demographic. So it's like, I just want y'all to be aware of that. And I feel like I would be intellectually dishonest to never showcase other things that are going on. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about that or whatever. I mean, I probably still do it sometimes, but if y'all don't want to see that a lot, let me know. But anyway, I guess that's all I'm trying to say. I don't want to keep going on and on and on. I love y'all. I do. And I just want y'all to understand where I'm coming from. And hopefully y'all do. But if y'all don't, it ain't really nothing too much I can do because I've poured out my heart. And hopefully you feel me and you understand. But if you don't, I can't do no more unless you want me to rip out my edges and put them in a clip and put it on. Let me stop playing. Anyway, I digress. If you watched this whole video and you enjoyed it, please do me a favor and drop a 222 down below in the comments. A 222 in the comments. And let me tell you why. Because these men out here, these men in these videos, and definitely the men in the clips that I showed today, disgusting. Boo, boo, boo. Absolutely no worth, no value, no nothing. Waste. Excrement. Okay? Period. And if you can't donate to my Cash App above to help support the channel, that's no problem at all. Just do your girl a free favor. It will cost you nothing. Just follow your girl on TikTok. I do live stream there exclusively. Follow me on YouTube. I'm on the road to 20K. So if you are not following me or not subscribed to me, please do your girl a solid. It's free. And hit that subscribe button. And also hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my new uploads. And as always, ladies, I really love to hear from y'all. I really do. Good, bad, ugly, in between. You know, sometimes I'll be like, dang, that was a little harsh, but I still appreciate it that you took the time to comment. So please drop your thoughts, comments, and feelings down below.